You ever been on a cooler? We are on a stone cold cooler right now. I'm going to show you how you can bet your way out of a cooler. This is WA betting. Let's go.
Money Pots.
Hey guys, this is your favorite neighborhood gambler, Moss Money. Thanks for clicking on my video. If you're into gambling, if you're into winning money at gambling, hell, if you love talking Eagles, this is the channel and the videos for you. So go ahead, hit that. Welcome everybody back for another episode of How to Bet WNBA. This is your host. This is Moss Money, and we are on a stone cold cooler. We've missed on the last couple bets here. I'm going to be completely transparent with you. No, no fakeness. No nothing about this where we look at it as if we're not, going down the wrong way. So this is how I'm going to show you how you can bet yourself out of getting out of a cooler. And it's a really tough thing to do because everything you see seems right, logic seems right, but results don't. So, and that's the game we're in. We're in a game where results are the only thing that matter. So let's bring up our handy dandy sports book and let's look at how do we bet out of a cooler, pretty much. When you start to leak a little bit too much than what you want, and how do you continue to bet and find your footing again? And the way you do that is that you start to relook at your bankroll and you reevaluate how you bet. So instead of how can I say instead of why didn't this come up the way it should? Instead of betting, your normal half unit or unit plays, what you do is you take it down a notch. So today, it's going to be all $25 bets. It's not going to be a half unit bet. We're going to slow the bleeding down and slow the losses down by betting lighter and betting lighter, not only cost wise, but betting lighter also, frequency wise. Usually we do about 5 or 6 bets. Today we're going to only do about 2 to 3, right? We want to kind of gain the momentum back of betting by still betting, but not doing it as heavy and not doing it as frequent. Even though we bet WNBA action only on the weekends, you know, the last 2 days of WNBA action, I think I'm 2-4, 2-5, likely. I had one bad day. I think it was the worst betting weekend I had since I've been betting WNBA. So we want to make sure that we slow the bleeding because we worked so hard to get here, and you literally can really lose it all in a weekend and week if you just continue to go. So want to put on the brakes here and really bet smart. All right. So looking at the slate today, we got a game coming up in an hour, and then we got some double headers with 3 and 6 o'clock games. So looking at the first game, the Liberty and Sun game, they just played. Liberty actually lost this game, I think, by double digits yesterday. And it's just kind of weird and kind of confusing. They're going to play again, and now the Liberty are favored by -11. And when I look at that, to be honest, I kind of head scratching because since Stewart has gotten hurt for the Liberty, they've lost the last 4 in a row. So I'm really not sure why this line is. And when that comes up like that, and you kind of question it, you just kind of you gotta pass it, right? They lost 78-62. They lost by 16 points, and now they're favored by 11. So the bookman is telling you that the Liberty more likely not going to lose 5 games in a row. So I expect a big game here and a bigger output from the Liberty, kind of a bounce back. And if that is the case, then we have to look to the star and their main threat scoring, whether Brittany was on the court or not, and that's Sabrina. I think Sabrina's going to have a big game today. So I expect Sabrina to hit her over at over 22. or it's either her or Jones, one of the two, or a combination of the two. But with 171 points, they would probably score anywhere from 60 to 70 points. Between the two of them, they're going to have to manage about 50% of it. So give me the shooter, even though Jones, I think, had a decent game against the Sun. I think she had a 30-point game, 30-point double double for her. Give me Sabrina. I can at least count on Sabrina a little bit more. I think Tina Charles is going to be up for the challenge versus Jones. They just seen each other. Sabrina, let me see what Sabrina had last game. I think she had like 20, if I'm not mistaken, last game or somewhere in there. And she can explode for like 30, right? We've seen that already this year. What did she have? She had 23 last night. So I get, is she going to follow up with another 23-point game like that? She's done it, looks like, a couple times so far this year. But if you look at her output so far, 23, 31, 17, 30, 29, just in her last 5 games, she's averaging almost 26 to 25 points per game. And that's good enough for me, even though the line says she's going to go under. I'm going to go the other way. We're going to do Sabrina here for over 22 and a half points. I mean, 11-point spread on a back to back, on a not back to back night, but on a game they just played. I think it's kind of crazy for me. So give me Sabrina, and remember, we're lighting up the bet. It's only going to be a $25 bet, right? We're going to light up the bet so we can save some of our money from earlier losses that we might have had throughout the week. All right, that's from my first best has this locked in. So yeah, give me the Liberty here. I'm not betting the Liberty, but yeah, I don't know what's up with this thing. Let's bring it back down here because it's just kind of clocking. All right. So next game, Fever Storm. Storm's beating. I'm sorry, Fever's beaten the Storm twice already, and a little confusing on this one too. I kind of would lean Fever here. Fever's been hot, winning 4 of their last 5. Storm, I think, have lost 3 of their last 5. So I would favor the Fever here. Short line, it was 2.5. It looked like it jumped up. I was looking at the total here, but that jumped down too. So that went the opposite way I was thinking. So I'm not going to go against the grain here. But yeah, I might come back to that. I think the Fever are a live dog there. I just, something's wrong. The Storm's like off. Sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off. So I'm really not sure here. But this one I am going to take. I am going to take Phoenix versus Chicago. Angel Reese has been out, and to be honest, I mean, Chicago wasn't good anyway, but now they are losing by almost 15 to 20 points per game, and it's getting kind of ugly here with them. I expect the Phoenix Mercury to blow Chicago out. I expect them to win by probably almost 20. They just don't have anybody who can score, to be honest. Even when they had Reese, she could score in different ways a little bit there, a little awkward sometimes, but it's still not enough. So I'm taking the 14 line here. Give me the Phoenix Mercury minus the 14. Can we get this to come up? Oh, it's so weird why this isn't coming up. I'm not sure why that's not coming up. Let's just clear it. Let's bring it back. Let's see if it works that time. No. All right. This is all good. You guys know what bet I'm picking. But yeah, Phoenix Mercury. I like this bet. Like I said, they've beaten them twice by easily more than double digits in both games. Um, Chicago's a sinking ship here. Let's see, 94, 89, and 107 to 86. That 94 to 89 game was way, way early, um, early May. But they beat the bullshit out of them last game by 19. So, actually, no, by 21. I'm sorry. by 21. I expect more of the same. That was in Chicago again. This one's in Chicago again as well. But you know, they're they're they've lost their last seven, like I said. Now it's not like Phoenix has been faring pretty well either. They're 1-4. This is a good get right game. Um, Unfortunately, their fifth road game in a row, so that does take a toll on you. I believe as well. They lost to Atlanta, they lost to India, beat Washington, they lost to Liberty, and lost to Atlanta again. But those four teams actually that they lost to are all more likely playoff teams. So, they're a good team. They're kind of failing here, but they're 1-4 in their last five. And when you think about that, they were what 15-7 after this latest slate. So I don't think this is a perfect get right game. Give me the Phoenix Mercury here at minus the 14. Again, $25 bet. $25 bet. All right. For my last pick of the day, like I said, reiterating the fact that we're lighting our bet money wise and we're lighting our bet frequency wise. And again, that is because we're looking at this as a way to minimize the damage, still get our bets in, but minimize the damage if we do continue to be on a cooler and, you know, protect our investment net egg that we already have in terms of how much money we've made over this stretch. So again, you can really, really lose really, really quick. So we want to make sure we kind of slow the bleeding down. Now this line yesterday was -5, and the Aces got blown out, and now it's -8 on a back-to-back night. So this is a very strange line for a feisty Golden State team who can play and play good team ball. They do have some injuries to the Golden State that could be impactful. I don't know if that injury is really that huge. Couple game time decisions with Cecilia, who could be out. She averages about 9 and 4, and then Tiffany Hayes, who averages 12 and 4 as well. So that is, it's it's worthy of note because it takes towards their depth in terms of the Golden State because they play such great team ball and great team rebounding. I think they're still top three in rebounding in the league. But man, for the Aces to bounce back, they've done it all year. And the one thing trend that I do notice that when they take a big loss, whether it be 20 points enough, they typically do bounce back. And I think the bookman is saying that they will bounce back at home. But for me, it all starts with Asia Wilson, right? And looking at what the bookman has in place that they're going to win by 8, that tells me Asia Wilson has to have a pretty decent game and lead the charge here. So for me, I'm betting with the star. We're going Asia Wilson 22.5 over points. It wouldn't surprise me if she has 12 to 15 points in the first half, and I feel like we're in pretty good shape at that point. So give me Asia Wilson over 22.5. It really wouldn't surprise me if she scores closer to 30. I think she had a 30-15 game against them before. So she is very capable to be able to put these type of numbers up, one against anybody, but against this team in particularly. So I think it's just a little bit low. I think she gets 25, 26 points. Wow. Refresh the page here. But give me over 22.5 on Asia Wilson. So those are my 3 bets of the day. I think that this is a good way of how to learn on how to understand how to negate the bleeding once you start the bleeding. And the first thing you have to recognize is that you're losing your bleeding. So don't go chasing. Don't go chasing bets, thinking that you're all good. We all lose. And typically the best bettors in the world, if you look at their record, they have a losing record. But what the difference is, they know how to slow the bleeding, right? They know how to slow and mitigate the investment money that you're starting to put in until they get hot or they get a little bit more consistent and then they start to push. So you always got to recognize that. Because if you don't recognize that, you can fall down the wrong path and start to dig into money that you shouldn't be digging into. And that's not what we want. And if you do have a problem like that, you need to call 1-800-GAMBLER to make sure you take control of that as best you can, because that's not what we teach and that's not what we preach here at Money Pot Betting. So I want to make sure that you guys fully understand how I'm betting. I'm only betting $75 a day, right? That's it. Well, a little bit more plus the juice, but that's the goal, right? The goal is to come back with up, not even a whole $100. But that's what you have to do. You have to stay disciplined in what you do and in your craft, right? And you got to pull back. You got to know when to pull back when you got to pull back. So I hope that helped anybody who is struggling or even been following my bets and kind of losing. I hope that helps you kind of navigate the muddy in the waters right now as we continue to bet and we continue to kind of bet out of the cooler. If you like what you heard, if you like to learn more about WNBA or just betting as a side hustle, make sure you hit the follow, hit the subscribe button, and go check out the videos that I'm talking about in terms of how to build a bankroll and how to become a professional, how to become a better. I won't even say professional, a better, throughout your betting career if you continue to bet. This is Moss Money. This is Money Pot Betting. Good luck. See y'all later.